Alright, and welcome to Module 7 of the GSU TV Post-Production Certification. In this module, we're going to be talking about creating transcripts using Transcriptive. We're going to be talking about how to open up the Transcriptive extension in Premiere, making sure that you properly label the sequence you're going to transcribe. It's very important that we make sure that we have good audio in the timeline, proofreading the transcript and identifying its speakers, exporting the transcript, and making sure that you save everything properly. Alright, let's get into it. So here we've got our selects reel, and this is all the questions from that interview just pulled out. So you see we have nothing but the good parts of that interview, right? So we wanted to cut out all of those questions. It's also important that we delete that bad audio. So we had the other audio from the other camera. We don't want that in there. So when we play this,
That's the concept of a cat cafe.
We want to make sure we have just our good audio in the timeline. If we don't have just the good audio in the timeline, it will fail to transcribe, or it will transcribe all messed up. It's also important that we make sure that if audio channels is not set up properly, that we do that for all of these clips. Like if we had this set up the way it came out of the camera, like so.
A film class I was in, I had to do a project on.
We want just that lavalier mic that was on her for our audio transcription. Alright, so I'm going to fix this back to the way it was. If you remember from the earlier module, we said left and left.
On some phenomenon in media, so I picked YouTube.
We listened to it, and that is the good audio. And we also need to double check, it's already done here. We need to make sure that the sequence we're transcribing, we label to actually say transcriptive. We want to clearly identify for anyone that comes behind us that that's where the transcripts are coming from. To open this up, it's a little bit different than normal plugins. We're going to head up here to Window, we're going to go down to Extensions, and we're going to select Transcriptive. Once we do that, that's going to pull up the Transcriptive window, and your count and everything should already be set up for you. So from here, it says ready to transcribe. So we're just going to hit transcribe. It's going to pull up and tell us how much it's going to cost to transcribe this sequence. And it says it's going to take 37 credits. Alright, so from here, I'm absolutely sure that I have everything, and I'm going to hit continue. What it's doing here is it's rendering out a version of the audio to send up to the Speechmatic server. Speechmatic is going to process that file, and then it's going to transcribe it and spit it back into our transcriptive window. This could take a while. It's very important that we do not close out the program while this is happening. Every time that we hit transcribe, it costs us credits. So once you get your transcript back, it's important that you listen along with the transcript and just check it for errors. It does a really bad job with names. For the most part, it gets most of the things right. So if you just play it.
And through that project, just doing some research, I only one in Georgia, and it started from a film class I was in. I had to do a project on some phenomenon in media, so I picked YouTube cat videos.
Okay, so far I got everything right. But let's say it had something that we needed to correct here. What we would do is we would just hit enter, and that would enter it into edit mode, and we can see up at the top right hand of the corner it says editing. So if we needed to come in and change something, we could just change the word right here. Like maybe we wanted to add in but that's just for illustration purposes. So let's say we wanted to add a word, we could add it, or if we needed to change the word, we could change it. And when we're done, we just hit escape, and that takes us back into tracking mode. Now the other thing that we need to do is we need to identify the speakers. So up here in the menu bar, we're going to select speaker management. And in this case, we've taken out the other speaker. If we had the other speaker in the sequence, we would identify them too. But here we're going to identify speaker 1 as Hayden Hilton. We're going to hit save. And it's going to have her name here for speaker 1. Now it's really important that we hit save, and that we save the project as well. So I'm going to Command S. And then once we've proofread this thing and we know that we have a good transcript for our sequence, once we've proofread this whole thing and we know that we have a good transcript for our sequence, we're going to export it. So we're going to click the export button. We're going to choose an exporter. We're going to choose rich text format. And for us, we're going to make sure that we have all of these things checked. And then we're going to click title text, and we're going to call this Hayden. We're going to do all caps. Hayden Hilton Transcript. We're going to have display time code on there. And we're going to have time code increments every 30 seconds. We're going to hit export. And this is really important. Where I want you guys to save these is I want you to go and find your project folder. And then in the notes folder, under transcripts, that is where we're going to save our transcripts. And it is super important we get these in the right folder so that someone can come behind you and they can build their script out of this transcript. All right, so we're just going to hit save. And then if we go and look at the transcript, we can see that we have a really detailed transcript. It tells us the clip name that this came off of, and it tells us the time code of our transcriptive time code. That is not the time code from this clip name. And we have time codes every 30 seconds. And that is how you use Transcriptive. Alright, so we covered opening up the Transcriptive extension inside of Premiere, making sure that you properly label the sequence you're going to transcribe, making sure that only the good audio is in the timeline. That's super important. We also covered proofreading the transcript and identifying the speakers. We also covered exporting the transcript and making sure that you save in the transcriptive window and save the project. Alright, I'll see you guys in the next module.